Welcome back, everybody, to Live Audio Wrestling. It's John Pollock with you. Coming up next Sunday night, March the 1st, Ring of Honor is back on pay-per-view. Coming to you from Las Vegas, Nevada. It's going to be the first ROH pay-per-view featuring this man. Once again, the IWGP Heavyweight Champion returning to Live Audio Wrestling is AJ Styles. AJ, how is the jet lag? You're back from Japan, and you've got numerous dates coming up. It's always a whirlwind of a couple of days for AJ Styles, I'm sure, coming off a big Japan tour.
Well, you'd think I've gotten used to jet lag by now, but not so much. But, I'm enjoying myself in Japan, having a great time, and, having great matches.
Making history, too, AJ. I don't know if you're aware of this, but you join Scott Norton and Vader as the only foreigners to win that title more than once in the history books.
You know what?
Now.
You know what's funny? I went back and I looked. So it's bad, but I was like, okay, me and Scott Norton, I believe Scott may have, I think he may have, I want to say twice or three times, but I know Vader had it 4 times.
Yes.
So I've got something to shoot for.
As we go back, I just wanted to touch a bit upon the match with Hiroshi Tanahashi last week at New Beginning. Especially the part of the match everyone was talking about was the big high fly flow spot to the floor. And you guys kind of have to think on the fly here when something like that occurs, crashing heads with Matt Jackson. What is AJ Styles thinking as, a curveball comes your way during this match, and how Tanahashi was afterwards, because you guys still had to go a considerable amount of time?
Yeah, we couldn't figure out who was bleeding because Matt didn't know. He knew that they crashed, bumped heads, but they didn't know who was bleeding. And I saw Tanahashi kind of rolled in the ring. I said, Tana's bleeding, and then it was Matt as well. And it, not just a little bit. This guy was bleeding pretty bad.
Yeah.
But you just use that to your advantage. You can tell a story. And believe me, the Japanese fans did not like it when I took advantage of the cut over his eye.
Yeah, and I thought you guys had a tremendous main event match. It's certainly, obviously, you are very much ingrained within that audience right now. You are seen as a top guy right now. It's really amazing when you consider that it hasn't even been a full year that you've been there in New Japan, and what a huge part of the promotion you are. And you go back to that first appearance for New Japan less than a year ago, AJ. I mean, was this even something that you would fathom, that all of this coming your way, the G1, the Tokyo Dome, 2 reigns as champion at this point? It's been a rather incredible year for you here in New Japan.
Yeah, I definitely didn't fathom something like this, to have the opportunity to wrestle for New Japan. I've always been a huge fan of New Japan Pro Wrestling, and have the opportunity to come in now and wrestle for them, and not just wrestle for them, but be a 2-time IWGP champion. I never would have bet on this for sure, and it's just a great place to work right now. I mean, I couldn't ask for anything more.
Where does Osaka rank amongst cities to work in? That's always one of the big hotbeds whenever New Japan is there.
Well, I'll put it this way. It's pretty much every time sold out, in Osaka. They're always hot. Just amazing crowd. So it's everybody loves Tokyo, but Osaka is kind of where it's at.
And I need to ask about the phenomenon that is the Bullet Club T-shirts. I mean, you see it on every wrestling broadcast, it feels now, much more than just exclusive to New Japan. I just hope that AJ Styles and your stablemates have a solid cut in these T-shirts, because they're everywhere, AJ.
It would be nice.
Oh.
But, it is what it is. And,
no.
Glad somebody's making money on the Bullet Club. But they treat us well. I mean, what are you going to do? It's their product. It's something they came up with, and I can't really argue with them, about keeping that stuff to themselves. Maybe next time.
Well, we'll see. I see the merchandise opportunities are endless across the world. I mean, you guys are as big as New Japan is at this point. The Bullet Club exports so well because you guys have the opportunity, and the Ring of Honor pay-per-view is a perfect example. It's not just yourself, it's the Young Bucks, it's Doc Gallows, Carl Anderson, who the Bullet Club has never even really been presented on Ring of Honor television, but that audience in Las Vegas is going to treat all of you as stars because that crossover effect is very much in vogue right now. Everybody that is going to cater to that audience is familiar with the Bullet Club. You guys are an asset to a pay-per-view like that.
Well, I think that, the reason why the Bullet Club is so over right now is because of the quality of wrestling that it presents. When you're in you got a match with the Young Bucks, I mean, it's going to be unbelievable. Carl Anderson and Doc Gallows. It's always going to be a great match. Kenny Omega, who we picked up, he's also a huge asset. So anytime you see guys like that in the ring, whether it be Fale or Tama Tonga or AJ Styles or Yujiro, I think I just think to everybody, you're going to have a spectacular match. And I think that's why the Bullet Club is so fun, to jump on the bandwagon with, because you're going to get a good match out.
Are you happy right now with the size of the group? It seems that, you've added a lot of members, but as you've just outlined there, everyone does serve a different role, which is where I kind of differentiate it from where the NWO was growing at such a rapid rate and everyone was getting those T-shirts. But you mentioned Fale, and then you have the junior heavyweight tag team. You have the heavyweight tag team. You have yourself in the IWGP heavyweight picture. Everyone at Kenny Omega, they're all serving different purposes. Are you happy kind of right now of where the group is size-wise and everyone's serving those different roles?
I think we're a little worried at first about how big it was going to get as far as the group size. But at this point, I think that we're stable enough right now with the ones that we got. We got the ones that we need. We got a young boy in Cody Hall. So we got a little bit of everything. Size and caliber of wrestling. Like, we got a little bit of everything. I think that we're great right where we're at.
How has Cody taken to things in the couple months he's been over there now?
I'm gonna brag a little bit about Cody because I was worried about him. Because it's not hard, being a young boy. I mean, this guy's, maybe close, probably 6'8". I mean, he's a big kid.
Yeah.
But and being the son of Scott Hall, it's hard to swallow your pride and go over there and do what needs to be done. And say, and he's doing it. And it's a big step for him. I'm so proud of him. I just hope he keeps on, doing what he's doing. Because the great thing about New Japan is when you're loyal to them, they will be loyal to you. And he's got a job for life if he keeps doing what he's doing.
I do want to chat a bit about the Styles Clash, because certainly that was a big controversy towards the end of the year. What conclusions did you make here? Because I've heard you many times explain that the Styles Clash is very simple to take. You just do nothing. What is your theory on why some of these incidents have happened, such as the Yoshitatsu incident, and just any conclusions you've been able to make and any reservations you might have of who takes this move if guys are not comfortable?
Well, if anybody said, "Hey, AJ, I'm not comfortable taking this move," I'd be like, "No problem."
Right.
That's why I have, a couple things that I can do that can be the finish of a match. It's not an issue. And the crazy thing is well, it needs to be, some people have said, well, you need to stop doing it. Well, if the promoter tells me to do it and they pay me, then I'm going to do what they tell me to do. But at the end of the day, the only thing that I can't control in the Styles Clash is your head.
Yeah.
You're in control of that. So, a lot of controversy, but anybody, I'll put it this way. I've thought about this a lot, that people call themselves smart marks, but if they were smart marks, then they know what's going on with this move and whatnot. If you're a smart mark, you're actually someone who has wrestled before. So I don't know if this smart mark word really exists like it already should, because if you were smart, then you'd probably have been a pro wrestler before. I don't know if that makes much sense. Or if you've been trained before, that makes you smart to wrestling.
Right. In terms of what has been done with the move now, it is now presented as the most dangerous move in all of wrestling. And you really got that sense at the Wrestle Kingdom show with Tetsuya Naito and continuing on with the recent Hiroshi Tanahashi match. And it's taken this real aspect to things, and it has taken the move to a different level, which is something that is very much unique to pro wrestling, where you can take real incidents and now it is viewed as the most dangerous maneuver in the industry.
Absolutely. I mean, I wish none of these guys would have ever got hurt. I mean, I hate it, but the fact that they did, New Japan's smart enough to use it to our advantage and make it the most dangerous move in professional wrestling. You take something bad and making something good out of it.
Do you feel it's that some of these guys, if it's just in their nature that you always tuck the head, and that's just almost like a knee-jerk reaction that they have to this? Because, I mean, your success rate with this move is, we don't have to outline. You've been doing this move your entire career. There's been a few incidents, unfortunately, but as you've outlined, there's not a whole lot you can do other than the guy just does nothing, and it's a chest bump.
Well, a lot of people say, it's something that they've been taught, that it's instinct to tuck your chin. The reason why, you're not taught how to take a face bump is because it's common sense.
Uh-huh.
So, it's one of those things that if you explain to the guy, hey, it's a face bump, no problem. That should say everything there is to say about this move. And if you have never seen it before, then, let's go over it. I will show you. No one has ever said, I've never seen it before, or I don't know how to take it. None of that's ever happened. So I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
It's a pretty simple move.
Yeah, I understand. And I think that, you've received a lot of criticism, and I think a lot of it unwarranted, to be honest, just from my perspective. And I'm not speaking as someone that has wrestled. That's why I'm asking you just to kind of break it down for people out there who are just automatically go to the assumption that this is a dangerous move, and as you've seen, it really isn't when you break it down as you have.
Well, I'll tell you, my little brother was the first guy to ever take this move on a trampoline, and he's fine. He was, gosh, like 8-10 years old. So, yeah, he's fine. That ought to say a lot. That common sense, when you realize what's happening, that you shouldn't do this or that. So, I mean, it's one of those things that, there's not much more to say about it.
Yeah. Just a few other topics here. I know that coming up this summer, New Japan is somewhat altering the G1 tournament where, unlike last year where it was about a 3-week tournament, they're extending it now. So it's pretty much going to be a full month of the same amount of shows but spread out over 4 weeks. How big of a difference is that for you, the performer, having all of these big shows and a little bit more time in between shows just to rest up and recover? Because it is the most tough tournament in professional wrestling every year.
Well, I think that they've learned from their mistakes. New Japan has, and when they were, day after day, one after the other, a lot of guys were getting hurt and weren't even continued the tournament. So last year was definitely a lot better. Where at least there was one day in between, and at some point you had 2 days due to a bye in the tournament. So if they want to extend that a little bit longer, I think it's smarter on New Japan, because now you have an opportunity to promote all the buildings that you're going to be in, all the venues that you're going to be in, so that you can do well financially as well. So I think they're very smart in what they're doing.
As well, while we've got you here, I mean, it's fresh news this week regarding Samoa Joe exiting TNA, and certainly I imagine New Japan is going to be, that's what a lot of people are hoping that they see with this guy. Any general thoughts just on Samoa Joe? Because much like yourself, two guys that were ingrained as TNA performers and opting to go outside of TNA. And as you've shown over the past year, AJ, there are a lot of options for guys of that nature, such as Samoa Joe.
Well, Joe's one of the best wrestlers in the world. There's no doubt about that. And I think he's going to be very, very busy, with, wrestling in the next year. I know how it is to be, with TNA for so long and not be available to the rest of the world, it seems like, as far as getting out there. So he's going to be very busy. There's no doubt about that. And, I'm happy for the guy. He deserves, to be booked all over the world. And it's nice to be wanted. And I guarantee you he's going to barely have time to catch his breath in 2015. And that's a good thing. And I'm hoping to see him in places that I work, Ring of Honor and New Japan Pro Wrestling. Timing is everything. So you never know what's going to happen.
I wonder if you've even received the call already of a promoter that wants to put together the rematch, maybe the most famous match in TNA history. Now you got Daniels, Joe, and yourself. You guys are out there. It's a match that any promoter out there can put together if they so choose. Yeah,
heck, I'd be ready to have that three-way all over again. We had fun with it, and we made a little bit of history doing something like that, so you never know.
Quickly, let's just get back to the Ring of Honor pay-per-view as we wrap things up. You've got a singles match with ACH coming up. It's in Las Vegas, Nevada. Big influence on this pay-per-view with the Bullet Club attached to this. And just scheduling-wise, this is the first time you've been able to do one of these Ring of Honor pay-per-views since they've gone the traditional method over the past year. Just talk to us a bit about ACH and from what you've gotten to see from the guy, and certainly a lot of high expectations for this match given your styles, pardon the pun.
I think ACH is one of the most talented wrestlers out right now. He's unbelievable. His athletic ability is unparalleled. The guy is off the charts. And the fact that, I'm going to have the opportunity to wrestle him in a singles match, I'm definitely looking forward to it. I love the opportunity to wrestle someone I've never wrestled before. And this match, with the athletic ability that's going to be in that ring, I think it's going to be nothing short. And this pun is intended phenomenal.
Well, we're looking forward to it. It's coming up next Sunday, March the 1st on pay-per-view, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and then it will be available on demand at ROHWrestling.com immediately after the show at 11 p.m. Eastern. AJ Styles taking on ACH, of course, four-way headlining the show for the Ring of Honor Championship. Always great to catch up with you, AJ, and continued success. You're just doing tremendously well at all points of the globe, and appreciate you coming on with us for a couple minutes to chat.
Absolutely, man. I had fun.
Awesome. Thanks, AJ. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.